Hey guys, how's it going? It's Riordan. So I wanted to make a quick video on how to get started in Soundtrap. Some of you have been asking me questions about how to add tracks, how to use the looping feature, how to change the tempo and stuff like that. So here's a quick video on how to do that. Hopefully it gives you guys a good foundation on how to get started. So from starting a new track from scratch to adding tracks to exporting it as a finished piece of music and sharing that with your teacher and your friends as collaborators, I hope you get something out of this. If you do have any questions, please fire them into the comment section below or fire me an email to jjfoundsound@hotmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or queries that you guys might have. Alright, so that's enough talking out of me. Let's hop on over to Soundtrap and I'll see you guys there in a second. Okay, so when you guys log into Soundtrap, this is going to be your profile. When you get into your profile, to actually access the music program, you're going to have to scroll down and click on the purple button that says Enter Studio. So I'm going to click on that. And because we're making music today, I'm going to click on Music. So this is a blank Soundtrap project. So basically there's no tracks, there's no nothing yet, it's the default 0.0. So the main point of this video is to get you guys kind of up to speed with how to use Soundtrap, how to locate different things that you'll need when you're recording music, how to read certain features and how certain things work. The first thing that we're going to work on is how to read the ruler, which is the line of numbers that runs across the top of the page. So if you can see here where the playhead is, the playhead's over number 1, then we've number 2, 3, 4, and so on. These are the bars of music that we're going to be recording. So here we've got bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4. If we come down to the magnifying glass down here at the bottom right, we can start to zoom in and break the bars down into their individual beats. So if I zoom in here, just check out the space between bars 1 and 2. If I zoom in here, we'll eventually start to see these little notches. And these notches indicate where the quarter beats are at the moment because there's 4 between numbers 1 and 2. So we've got beat 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar 2, beat 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, if we zoom in even more, we'll start to see eighth notes. So you'll see the space between the notches actually split in half again. So let's just zoom on in here and eventually, there we go. Those are eighth notes. So we'll have bar 1, beat 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so let's zoom back out. Okay, so I'm back here at the quarter notes. So if we want to record a song that's not in 4/4 or 8/8, if we want to record in a triple time like 3/4 or 6/8, we can tell Soundtrap that that's what we're doing. So if we come over here to the setting, click on that fella. And if we click on 3/4 here, just watch those notches between 1 and 2. So instead of there being 4 now, when we tell the program that we want to work in triple time, there will be 3. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, and so on. If we zoom in, we'll start to see eighth notes. There we go. And again, we'll see 16th notes if we keep zooming in. If we keep going again, we'll start to see 32nd notes, and so on and so forth. So for this video, I'm going to go back to 4/4 time. So the next thing that we should have a look at is the metronome. And the metronome is basically a clicking guide that helps us to keep in time with the music that we're recording. So to adjust the tempo of the metronome, we go down here to this number, which is always 120 by default. 120 actually measures BPM or beats per minute. So if you're trying to figure out the tempo of a piece of music that you've got in your head, like a dum da 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 da, what you can actually do is come down here to the tempo marking, click on that, and this big purple button is actually a tap tempo. So if you catch your mouse, you can tap in time to whatever you've got in mind, like dum da 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 dum da 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 dum. So that's telling me that what I'm tapping is roughly 138 beats per minute. So it's giving me a click to reference that. Yeah, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to click confirm. So now what we've basically told Soundtrap is that we're going to be recording at 138 beats per minute. That's the tempo that we're at. So the next thing to do is to add a track. That's how we're going to record things. We need to give our tracks somewhere to go. So if we come up here to the top left button, we can click add new track. And we're given a host of options here, but we're going to be recording our voice. So we're going to be using a microphone, and the microphone that's built into our laptop, tablet or phone is accessible here as well. So I'm just going to click on this. And my laptop is prompting me to use my microphone, which is perfect. So I'll click allow. I think with Windows, it's down here at the bottom left somewhere. So I'm going to turn on my metronome here for timing. And I can start to record. And so this is recording me right now. Hello. Okay, and I just hit spacebar there to stop it recording. So what we can do here while this is still up is we can click on the reverb to turn the reverb up or down. I'm going to turn it off. We can pan the track, which means moving it from left to right, and we can adjust the volume here as well. Over here we've got this purple button that says effects, so you can actually click on this and add loads of effects if you want to go crazy. There's delays, you can add some like modulating effects, some distortions, some tonal changing bits. It's just lots of fun. So yeah, you can get really creative with those. I'm just going to exit this at the moment, and there's our track. I'm just going to play this and we'll just have a quick listen. So this is recording me right now. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the metronome and I just want the hello. So if I hover over the track here, you can see these little arrow icons appear at the bottom left and right, and they'll let me adjust the length. So I can just catch this and drag it over. If you want, you can zoom in with the magnifying glasses down in the bottom right. And I'm going to have this. Hit space to play or click on the play button down here. Hello. Okay, so that's how you can record your sounds into Soundtrap using the microphone on your laptop or phone or tablet. To get into the settings again, you just click on the little microphone button over here. There we go. A really useful thing that we can do is actually name the tracks. So instead of it saying microphone, 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 microphone for every track and things just getting confusing or things getting lost, it's a really good idea to click on these little 3 dots up here and rename the track. So I'm going to call this Hello. Hit play. Hello. There we go. So if we want to add another track, we'll just go under this to where it says add new track. I'm going to use another microphone. Just going to pop over here to number 1, start recording. Goodbye. Okay, exit out. And now I'm going to have goodbye and then hello. Goodbye. Hello. Bad examples, but we'll keep going. So I'm going to rename this goodbye. Okay. So what we can do now is zoom in again. And what we can do is just get rid of the silences here at the start and end. I can catch this and just drag it to wherever I want it. So maybe just after the hello. Hello. Goodbye. All right. So you can do all sorts of things by just clicking and dragging and moving. Hello, goodbye. So the next thing to understand is how to read these little icons over on our little track tabs. So the first one that we can see here is R. So the R buttons basically tell the program where you want your recording to go. So if I click on R on the hello track and start recording, it'll record into this lane of audio. So you have to be careful that you're not going to be recording over anything else unless that's what you're trying to do. So if I click record here, I'll be recording onto the hello lane. Just like that. Okay, if I want to record onto this lane here, the goodbye lane, I would turn off the recording arm on hello, click on it here on the goodbye lane, start recording, and you'll start to see it recording in the second lane here. Da 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 da. Okay. If you want to record in 2 lanes or 3 lanes at the same time, you'd arm both lanes and then click record and you'll start to see I'm recording in both lanes. Da 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 da. Okay. A lot of the times when things start to disappear, it's because things are armed or things haven't been set to record with this little R button. So it's very important to understand how that works. So I'm just going to delete these at the moment by highlighting them all and then pressing the backspace on my laptop. So the next button here is actually like a rolling knob. This is just the volume button. It's a quick access icon, so you can catch it and push it up or down to change the volume. So up, down. These little headphones are the solo buttons. So if I just want to hear the hello and don't want to hear the goodbye yet, what I can do is just click on solo. And now when I play this track, I'll only hear the top lane of audio. Hello. So you can see there that the goodbye has been muted because this one is soloed. If I unsolo this, I can hear the goodbye again.
Hello, goodbye.
Likewise, if I just want to hear the goodbye, I can click on the headphones here, and the hello will be muted.
Goodbye.
Okay. From that, you can probably gauge how the mute buttons work. You can just turn off tracks individually or mute them if you want to hear other tracks on their own. So that's how we record audio. The next thing that we can do in Soundtrap is figure out how to work with synthesizers. So if I go to add new track, you'll see here there's a whole range of synthesizers that we can use. So if we want to use a synthesizer that sounds like a piano or use a keyboard, we can click on this button here. If we want something that sounds like a guitar or a bass, there's this button. I'm going to use the synthesizer option, which is the 6th circle here. Click on that. So this is the synthesizer. So if you want to change the voice of your synthesizer, you can click on this box here. And if you're a free user like me, you will have to just look for the ones that are actually free, or you can pay for it. So I'm going to go for light weather. So double click on that, and light weather sounds like this. Fun. So you can see that you can play it just by clicking on the notes. If you've got a phone or a tablet with a touch interface, you can actually play the keyboard just by touching the notes that you like. Or similarly, you can see here that the computer keyboard is actually laid out across the synthesizer. So if I want to play a low C note, I can press the letter Z on my keyboard. I can play an E flat by pressing the D note on my keyboard, or the D key. So if I want to play a C minor, so I can play C, E flat, G, Z, D, B. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to just record some synthesizer in, so I'm going to go back. It is armed, but this is all I want to hear, so I can solo this. And you can see now that the other tracks have been muted. I'm going to turn the metronome on so I can monitor the time. And I'm going to just play in something like that. So I'm going to hit record, it'll give me a count in, and I can play something in then. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, can stop the recording or press record again to stop it. We can adjust the length. And now I'll have... The timing's a little bit off. So, if you want, you can add some effects over here again. We can adjust some of the various parameters here. If you're happy though, we can tidy up the rhythm with synthesizers and with all software instruments by clicking on piano roll. So this is what I've just played in. So I'm going to go back here to the start so you can see what's been played in. So the timing is a little bit funky, so there's something really useful that we can use to help snap the notes to the grid and make it super correct timing wise. So to do that, we use a tool called quantizing. So a really handy way to do that is just highlight all of the notes, right click on any one of them, click on quantize, and you can decide how much of a shift you want everything to take. So I want everything to snap to the nearest 8th note, so to the nearest quaver note. And now that'll sound like this. So I'm happy enough with that, so I'm going to click on X. I'm going to just put a goodbye here, and I'm going to put the hello here, just by dragging them over. And if I want to unsolo this and hear everything together, now I'll have this.
Hello. Goodbye.
Fun. If you want to turn the metronome on or off, head down here to the bottom of the screen. So you've probably noticed this grey bar underneath the ruler. So this is what we call a cycling head. So if you just want to listen to a specific portion of your piece of music over and over again, if you want to change something, what you can do is cycle it, and it'll basically loop that until you tell it to stop. So to turn this thing on, head over here beside the settings button and you'll see the circular arrow. That's the cycling. And it'll activate this. So if I want to adjust the length of this, so I only want to hear the 3rd bar again, I can adjust this purple bar so it's only the length of the 3rd bar here, so from 3 to 4. Start playing it, and you'll see that it'll just start to cycle it.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
So what I've noticed is that bye, if I want to have the bye on the beat, it's a little bit off. So I can just zoom on in, catch this, and just make it line up with that first beat.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Cool. Similarly, if I want to line up the hello somewhere, I can just catch this bar and drag it over so that it's now cycling the second bar.
Hello. Goodbye. Hello. Goodbye. Hello.
So the goodbye is throwing me a little bit, so I can mute it for now.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, I'm just gonna go
Hello.
something like that.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Fun. So I'm gonna zoom on out here a second. I can turn this cycling head off for now. I can go back to bar 1 and hit play.
Hello. Goodbye.
Okay. So this needs some drumming, I think. So the next thing that we can do is use loops to add to our compositions. So to find a loop, you head over to the purple button at the right hand side of the screen. So I'm going to just head over here and click on this little music icon. And this opens the loop library. So if you guys haven't checked out my loop tutorial, I'm just going to pin it here to the top of the screen, and I'm going to add it to the description underneath this video, so you can head to that afterwards if you want to check it out. I think that this needs some drums, so I'm going to click on drums, and because I'm a free user, I'm just going to have to scroll until I see the free ones. There they are. So something like, which one will I use? This one maybe? So you can just play it and get a reference. Nice little clap. What about this one? Cool. So the great thing about working with loops is that they'll often just stick to the tempo of your track. So if I drag this in, it'll automatically jump to be 138 beats per minute. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to catch this and just drag it over, line it up with beat 1. Okay, so I've just dragged that in, so I'm going to head back here to the start. I'm going to drag the playhead over to number 1 and press my space bar to play.
Hello. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. So I want to adjust the length of this. So I don't want this to be, 4 cycles long? So to do that, I can just hover over the beat, go over to the end here, and you can see this little looping icon. So if I click on this and just pull it back, I can adjust the length of my loop.
Hello. Goodbye.
Once you're finished making your track, what we have to do is we have to save it. So I'm going to change the name of this to Song 1. I'm going to save it. Cool. Now there's 2 things that we can do next. The first thing is we can download this as a music file. So you'll be able to access this online through your profile if you want to make any edits, but if you are finished and you want to download it as a piece of music, what we have to do is head up here to File, click on Export, and we can render it as an MP3 or as a WAV file. So the difference between these is that WAV files are a much larger file, but they do have more data in them, so the track sounds a bit better, it's a bit more polished. MP3 files are more compressed, so they take up far less space in your phone, but they just don't sound nearly as crispy. So it's up to you, whichever one you like or whichever one you need. So if I want to save this as an MP3 file, I would just click on Export Project MP3, and it'll download the MP3 of what we've made to our phone. If we want to collaborate with our friends on this, we're going to have to learn how to share this project file with them. Or if we want to share this project with our teachers to show them what work we've been doing, we can share that with them as well. So to do that, what we have to do is we have to exit the studio at the top right of the page here. And that'll bring us back to our profile. And if I scroll down here below the Enter Studio button, we'll see our projects, and here's my Song 1. So that's the piece I just made now. If I click on play, I can hear it.
Hello. Goodbye.
So if you've got a buddy that you want to collaborate with, what you're going to have to do is you're going to want to send them the studio version of your project so they can add their own tracks. And to do that, we'd head over here to these little 3 dots and we could click on collaborators and we could invite our friends. So if you know their email address, just pop their email address into this and they can join you in the project, in the studio, and you can make stuff together. So if you want to send this to your teacher, what you can do is you can click on these little 3 dots up here and you can invite them to check it out. So if you know your teacher's email address, pop it in here, or you can copy this link here and whack it over to their email address as well. So that was a really basic video on how to get started in Soundtrap and some of the features available in there and how just to use some of the tools in the program. Have fun creating. So yeah, the next video is going to be a step-by-step guide on how to produce a found soundtrack from start to finish. So hopefully I'll see you guys at that one. Signing off for now, I'm JJ Riordan. You take it easy.